All right, I'm back for Dusty S's ongoing coverage of Fragicago 2023 here at the Scrims Esports Center, and I found Davey. How are you doing, Davey?
I'm doing well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. The venue's been actually great so far. I mean, Steve and Ed, they always do a great job, and the whole crew's been super awesome. So yeah.
And
Except for Buck, I don't like that guy.
fair and probably true comments. And so, one thing I wanted to ask you is, it's been quite a long time since you played. You've played a proper LAN event. I believe dating back to EPL relegation in 2018 or 2017.
Maybe.
Maybe. How's it been to get sort of back on the server in a LAN setting?
It's fun. I mean, back then, obviously, the stakes were a little bit different. No disrespect to this event, but I'm here playing with my friends, whereas that we're playing for our jobs essentially. So the stakes in the past were a little bit different. It was also weird for me to come into a sort of local LAN setting and not feel the expectation to win the event, because obviously historically, the last Fragadelphia I went to, I won, and usually when I go to local LANs, I bring my friends and we kind of just stomp. But now, I came here with my buddies who aren't like pro players, aren't semi-pro players, and so it was more so just a fun vibe, which I really enjoyed because I've never been to a LAN before and had that mindset. So it was fun.
Is it sort of like refreshing in a way to go to a local LAN and not have like all the eyes on you, have a bunch of like fans trying to hound you for autographs, all that stuff that's associated with being like a tier 1 NA player?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind, honestly. I mean, there's been quite a few people here that have come up for autographs and pictures, but it's nice, honestly. Just the fact that, like you said, 5 years really since I've even played a real LAN, and about 3 years now since I've actually competed. So yeah, it's nice that there's still people that even want me to even meet me or say anything. So it's nice. I don't mind. I don't mind.
And with that in mind, I wanted to sort of ask you about the team you've brought to play here. Like, I've seen you've been playing with Salsa and Tawa on ESEA and FaZe now for a while now. How did this team form, and like what's the general like deal with the team?
Well, this team here, Simba is a roommate and a very good friend of mine, and Ploki and Tawa, I actually sponsored, and I would just like pay open IM teams their league fees and stuff during the pandemic, because I knew it was hard for people, so I was just like helping teams out. Tawa was actually an editor for me on Peaker's Advantage, so he was like, "Hey, is it okay if I use the Peaker's Advantage name for my ESEA team?" And I was like, "Sure, man, I don't care, go for it." So then I was like paying their league fees, and then they ended up qualifying for main, and then the team was sort of like falling apart. But another one of my good friends, Drewby, he was on the team, and he asked me, he's like, "Do you just like want to come and play with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll play with my friends." And then we got second place in main, went to advanced. I ended up leaving the team. I moved to Europe for a bit, and then I came back, and now I'm living in downtown Toronto with Simba. We're roommates in downtown Toronto. So the Tawa and Ploki just asked. They were like, "Hey, do you guys want to come to Fragicago?" And we looked at it. We were like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it."
And with that, you've worn a lot of different hats over the course of your career: player, player, caster, podcaster, streamer, all of these roles. Considering that you've done so many things around the launch of CS2, how would you describe your role sort of in the space right now?
Oh, I have no idea. That's a good question, but I have no clue, man. I'm just vibing, I guess. I still love Counter-Strike. I don't like what Valve have done to it, but I still do love the name. I love the game, and so it's essentially been my life since I was 11 years old. So it's just one of those things where I just sort of, like you said, I just sort of fill in wherever I feel like I'm needed or wherever people want me at any given time.
And for better or worse, streamers who have a lot of followers online sort of become the thought leaders of the CS scene, and they kind of set the opinion about certain things in the game, whether that's the state of CS2, whether that's the state of it as a product. I wanted to first ask you, how do you feel generally about the state of CS2? Are you enjoying it?
I'm not enjoying playing the game at all, no. The only thing that's enjoyable about it is like playing games with your friends, essentially. Like even games like Among Us itself, right, isn't a fun game like to just play. It's the fact that you're playing with your friends that makes it fun, right? So I definitely don't like what they've done to CS2. I can see the promise there, and I understand why they decided to go with the sub-tick system. People are like, just give us 128 tick, and it's like I get why they did that, but they just haven't figured it out yet, and they need to fix a lot of things and figure it out before the first major. Because if the first major ships like anywhere close to how the game is right now, that's gonna be bad.
Are you a Valve doomer, or are you a Valve do you have like hopium for Valve to fix it? Like, because some people have said, well, Valve are just idiots, they're never going to fix it, and some people are like, just give them time, like let them cook. What do you think?
I think that if they stick to their guns on a lot of these changes and they don't make the fixes that they realistically just need to, because the thing is, there's some things where they just get really stuck in this idea that they know for sure that this is what people want. And there's that, there's that famous Ford quote where it's like, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have asked for a faster horse, right? And it's like, I get essentially like why they're hesitant to just like listen to community feedback instantly. But if they see the player numbers continuing to drop and interest in the game continues to drop and the income continues to drop, then they'll be like, okay, what at the very least they're going to try to fix something. They might not fix what people say they need them to fix, but they're going to try to fix something. So I do think that they will be able to get the game to a much more playable state. How long that's going to take them is really the question.
Do you think the progress they've made like thus far, like thinking back to launch day to today, do you think it's been substantive?
No, God no. What, you mean like the very like official launch?
If we're talking like September 29th to December 2nd, which is today.
Okay. Yeah, okay, then in that sense, yes, it's better. I mean, I played the very first shipping of the very first beta, like the day that it dropped, and that game felt better than this one right now. So they've somehow regressed with especially with the interpolation, like the peeker's advantage, all that stuff, that they've regressed massively with that. But they also shipped an update. It was like November 16th or 17th, where everything just felt perfect. It was like, oh my God, you guys just did it. I mean, not the whole game. The FPS problems are still terrible, but like the actual like interp and the bullet reg and all that felt really good again. And then the next day they released another update that broke everything again. And I'm like, why did you guys do that? Like, what is wrong with you? So yeah, I think they have improved for sure, but like not enough.
So, do you think, like, right now, if we're looking sort of beyond the game from a mechanical level, I know I talked to Flom and Cologne about sort of CS as an entertainment product, and we're sort of reminiscing about the days of, like, Rank S and when people used to stream FPL all the time. Do you think CS2 is in good state as, like, an entertainment product right now? Even for, someone who just streams the game and plays, like, pickup games. What do you think about the sort of entertainment of CS2?
No, I think it's a lot worse than CSGO. I think the fact that it's new doesn't help, but the fact that it's bad doesn't help. Like I know a lot of people, even like my older brother who originally got me into Counter-Strike, he would still play Counter-Strike with his friends like on the weekends just for fun. And since CS2 came out, they've stopped, and now they play Valorant instead because it just feels better. Like the game just doesn't feel good to play, and because it doesn't feel good to play, those same people, especially like there's like sort of like this middle ground of like the really, really bad players just don't really notice or care all that much, and then the really, really good players notice a lot, but there's a bunch of players in the middle that are just like, I don't really need to. I can go play another game because like I'm pretty good at FPS games. I can go play the new COD. I can play the new Battlefield. But like, there's no reason for them to stick to CS if they're not invested in the pro scene. So a lot of those players are the ones that are leaving, I think. And so I know for me personally, I've recently experienced getting more viewers from playing Football Manager than I do from playing CS2. And a lot of my CS2 viewers are actually being like, dude, just go play FM. It's more fun to watch. Like, which is crazy because it's a spreadsheet game essentially. So, yeah, I think it's not good.
But even with that in mind, sort of last question for you: if there was more lands that you could easily travel to, would you still go though?
No. I mean, only if there was some reason for me to go. Like again, like if my friends asked me to go, or if I was being paid to go there for something. Like I have an event in January in Toronto that I'm being, it's a sponsor who's paying me to go there, so I'm going to go to that one. But no, not really. Not really.
All right. Well, that's quite the way to end things off. Hopefully, CS2 gets a better state. Thank you so much for your time, Davey.
Yeah, no worries.